Hi there everybody and welcome to Ask Aion episode 4. I'm Nick, the product director for Aion, answering your questions here and today. In the comments of our last Ask Aion, I saw complaints that some of the answers were just blah blah with no real value. Now I know that for some question there really isn't much to say except working on it, duh. But I still want to give it some credit. In order to show you that I'm perfectly aware of this, I want to introduce the Ask Aion blah blah meter.
Ask Aion's blah blah meter.
A value of 0 means that the answer was spot on and no discussion remaining. A value of 100 means that the answer had no real value at all. Now let's put this to a test. Nick the Sugar Beater asks, when will 4.8 be released? Well, the answer with a blah blah value of 100 would be, thank you Nick for your question, we're working hard on releasing this feature soon, but I can't give you a date yet. And the answer for a blah blah value of 0 would be, we're happy to inform you that 4.8 will be released on the 30th of September. Alright, so much about that, let's start with your questions. The player Horrible is asking, anything new on the server merge? I understand that server merges are one of the most pressing issues, and as I've told you, we've been tending to this right after the release of 4.7. I've been sharing some of the difficulties in our last Ask Aion, and this time I want to give you the facts that you've been begging us for. So, are we going to do the server merges? Yes, indeed we're going to do the server merges. And how are we going to do the server merges? Like this. It took us a really long time to gather all the relevant data and decide, but this is how the servers are going to be merged. For the German servers we have Vehala, Baldar and Cromidi merging together. Then we have the two English servers, Telemachus and Spartalos, merging together with the Italian server Curatus. Then we have the other two English servers, Parento and Nexus, merging together with the Turkish server Tsubaba. Then we have the English server Anuhat merging together with the Spanish server Alkima. Then we have Kalindi, the French server, merging together with the other French server Sutran. And the French server Urtem, the Polish server Baros and the German server Tor are going to stick to themselves. Regarding the details, we will be sharing more information about how the different conflicts will be handled in the weeks to come on the boards and as news on our website. To give you a quick overview now, these should be the most pressing issues. Well, what is going to happen to your precious gear? For example, we can't have two governors of the same faction on the server, so one will lose his rank and gear. But of course we want to reimburse him accordingly. And this is really difficult to define, so we're still working on the best solution. Well, the other things are relatively easy. For your name, the character with the lower level will get a name change ticket. For the housing, you will get the price that you paid for the house plus the items that you put into it. Regarding the legion, both legions are going to get a name change ticket. And of course, when are we going to merge the servers? Well, somewhere between October and November. I really hope October. For the next question, the user Neomorpheo asks, will you open completely new servers when you merge the old ones? Well, with the merges, no. But another topic that we're working on at the moment is to release Aion on Steam. And this will hopefully lead to a boost of new players. And when deciding on the server merge tables, we've set the player numbers to value where a plus 50% increase of the players would still be possible regarding performance. So we should be safe. Player Xyloon is asking, is it true that you planned character transfers for 2016? Well, as long as we won't find a way to allow having characters of both factions on one server, we will have to implement the character transfer when doing the server merges. And if we do so, it is very likely that this will be boosted into paid service in 2016. So yeah, very likely. Well, this question I kind of stole at the beginning, but actually it was a question from the player Mächtigster in Aion. He's asking, when will 4.8 come to the EU? Now this has become kind of a regular point in every Ask Aion, so here's our release schedule. 4.8 will be released on the 30th of September. 4.9 on the first quarter of 2016, and for 5.0 we don't have any information yet because we haven't even received the files from Korea, so no information. The player Stellar is asking, why don't you take Aion DPS as evidence or at least as a serious trigger to start watching players? People been sending videos and everything, yet cheaters still roam freely. Well, of course we know that lots of you are using the Aion DPS meter. It was recently updated with a really interesting feature that claims to detect the usage of the animation hack. Up until now, and this is correct, we haven't used the reports we've been getting from players blaming others to cheat, as it's a third-party program and we didn't know exactly how it works. Seeing how many reports we got, we contacted the developer and have been looking into this. After having done so, I can say that from now on we will indeed use your reports as one indication to detect cheaters and ban them accordingly. But of course we can't just blindly ban players because of one screenshot that can easily be faked, but we will look deeper into the account and then decide how to proceed. I really hope that with this you'll see some consistent hackers disappearing very soon if they haven't already. And if you should come upon a hacker and you got the tool installed, please send us a screenshot or a video of the tool in action and the values for proof. And you can see how that works on the tool homepage. But still, it is a third-party tool and not associated with Gameforge in any way. The player Soito is asking, are you planning to use GameGuard or any similar software to protect customers against hacks? Now I know that this has been a topic which is going on for some time now and is still not implemented yet. The thing is that there have been some issues with the implementation into the client, and these bugs need to be fixed between the company behind GameGuard and NCS directly. They are working on it and we're checking in on them every day, but sadly enough there is still no working client with GameGuard activated yet. And we cannot give you an ETA. But this is a very important topic for us and we're working on it very hard. Blah blah. In the next question from player Hiroko, he's asking, it has been talked about on the board several times that the game has performance issues due to the UI, and the effect is not so huge on the Korean client, and therefore it must be a problem with the way you guys patch the client. Is there anyone working on this? Well, for some players in certain situations there indeed is an FPS issue at the moment where the frame rate drops. And that we can confirm. And we can also confirm that other regions are also affected by this. But we are not patching the client ourselves though, but receiving a patch from NCS. We have reported all the information that we've gathered from you players through the forums and by our own checks and reported them together to NCS. They are aware of the issue and are working on a fix with high priority, though there is no information yet when it can be provided. Player Mats is asking, can you send me an Aion plushie? Well, this question is related to what we started in the last Ask Aion, catch a Shugo. We offered a Shugo in exchange for a video that shows you catching the Shugo that I'm throwing at you. We've selected some of the submissions for this month. Let's see what they did come up with. More Shugos! Once again. In order to participate, you have to send us an email to shugo@aionfreetoplay.com and convince us that you indeed will take the video. Not everyone will get one, but there is more than a fair chance. Player Stellary is asking, when will we have a real event, not one which is 99.9% aimed at shop sales, but rather one which stimulates good things like getting mana stones, enchantment stones, crafting materials, etc. I think that we need to clarify what a shop event is and what not. A real shop event would be an event that can only be played by using the shop, and the only event we had been running like this was the first Shugo game event. Then we have events where the shop can be used to increase the amount of rewards you get from the event, but all rewards are also available for free players. All other events, which is by far the biggest part, can be played completely free without any related items in the shop. And please don't forget that boost events are also events that give you like 50% XP, Kina, AP boosts and such. There's also the Healing Camp, Symphony event, Wildcard event, etc. etc. In the next question, the player Randy is asking, I see the new feature in your website like player/legion rankings. Are you planning to bring back My Aion with full implementation like visualization, stigma, gear, equipment of the player? We're planning to step by step add more features to the website that will provide interesting in-game information. The ranking was a first step and we hope that you really liked it. Showing individual player stats, gear and such is also on the long list, but we won't see it within 2015, probably 2016. Now a question from a player called Calypsor93. Why admins no ban players who botting? Players who botting are admins? Yes, I think you are hackers to sell us Kina. Please answer on this if you are not afraid to reply. Well, first of all, I'm not afraid to reply to anything. Actually, when choosing the questions for Ask Aion, what I do is go through all the list of the questions, and for every question that I'm kinda uncomfortable with, then that's the question that I'm answering. But no, we are not hackers and we are not running any bots to rip you off. Clicking Batty is asking, why did you broke promise that this game will not turn pay to win? Pay to win, which of course related to free to play, is always the big concern, big topic. Well, pay to win means that the players that are playing will have a huge advantage over players that are not. The business model of Aion is focused on, let's say, pay to convenience. With XP potions and such you can level faster, but in the end both free and pay users will end up at the same spot. The understanding of pay to win differs from person to person though, so it's really difficult discussing this. When looking at Aion and comparing the game to similar games that are available on the market, I personally think that Aion is nowhere near pay to win. Player Rave Nukes is asking, is there at least one support team member that ever played Aion? Oh yeah, several of them are, and not only from support, and we're probably kicking your ass regularly. Player Kefir is asking, why Aion Gameforge with one language installed, size is 30 GB more or less, while Russia or Korea is 20 to 22? After reading this question I got a bit concerned, to be honest, and I just checked the client sizes myself, and the Russian client indeed is just the same size as ours. Maybe you've got several language packs installed after choosing them in the launcher, because each client version does have around 1.3 GB extra and Russia only has one language. It could also be that you're comparing the download size and the client size after installation, which would make sense looking at the numbers. Dimitris Messalas is asking, will you ever cancel the gold pack and be like North America? Smile. Well, there are no plans at all, because both NCS and us are very happy with the system and we think it's really good and fair. And that's it! Once again, we've come to an end. I hope you enjoyed this episode very much. Sorry it took a bit longer this time due to the holiday season. And as usual, please make sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and our channel here on YouTube. And I'll be seeing you again soon for the next episode. Until then, we hope you enjoy the game, play fair, and be nice as usual. And if you're Asmodean, please make sure to keep your fur trimmed.